So, yet another game where we lost. That's 9 defeats in 11 games now. No matter how you spin it, 'cause I know some people try and spin it well. Some of those are cup games, but one win in 11, 9 defeats in 11. No matter how you spin it, this isn't good fun. And it's one of the things where tonight I saw enough that I thought we were promising in parts. So, say for example, the opening, before Man United scored their goal, which then came against another player, I thought we actually played relatively well. Grant and Hesketh linked up very well. I was very impressed with Hesketh, and what I believe was his debut for the club. And I thought they positive early on. I mean, we were actually loading more players into the box. We weren't just trying to play like one player running with the ball and then just seeing what would emerge. We would go on one player and then everyone was striding into the box. It makes a big difference from a few weeks ago. So the steps are being made, but ultimately we're still losing virtually every game at the moment. And it's it's one of those ones where you just can't see what's going to end, especially with the month that City have coming up. I mean, we've got Sunderland, Peterborough, Portsmouth away, Shrewsbury at home, and then Bolton at home. We might win those two. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But yeah, it's just you just can't see where wins going to come from at the moment. It's just you could put this Lincoln side against anyone really, and you wouldn't fancy them to win. I'm kind of glad the FA Cup's not for another month because with our form, we'd be right for an upset if someone came up against us from a lower division. But it is what it is. I'd say there were some positives to take out of the game. I thought Smith in the goal had a very good game. He saved a good few shots, and the chance where the Man United player went through one-on-one late on after Melbourne slipped over. Smith actually, I think he got his foot to it or hand, and he actually deflected it onto the post. So he had a good night. I mean, he couldn't really do anything with the goal. He was left a bit exposed by the defence. And to be fair, it's just this game could have ended like 2 or 3 or whatever, because both teams had the chances. United hit the bar and the post. I think they might have hit the post twice, and we certainly hit both as well. It was a very open game. It was relatively entertaining for what it was. But yeah, our form goes on, and the funny thing is, since we actually won the leasing.com trophy, or the Czech Traders it was then, we haven't actually won a game in regulation time. That was our 6th game since we won the competition, and we haven't won a single match. We technically won the Scunthorpe match last season, but that was on penalties after it finished, I want to say 1-1. I think it was 1-1 or 0-0, one of the two. But yeah, so I'd say there's not really any players I can look at saying you had a bad game. Akinde, I don't want to use Akinde as a scapegoat, so I won't. But he could have done a bit better in the game. He seemed a bit out of it. He didn't really seem, I won't say not interested. It's probably the wrong way to say it, but he just didn't seem at it. Having said that, I'm not convinced his goal that was disallowed for offside was actually offside, because they showed the replay on iFollow, and it does look like he is onside when the ball is played. But that's what happens when 50-50s come on. I suspect in January, it wouldn't surprise me if Afton looks to sell him. I could be wrong. But yeah, there's not really too much to read into this really, because I say it's just a leasing.com trophy game. It's this one's where if we win, great. If we don't, no one really cares. It's the 3rd out of the 3 trophies. Let's face it, if this was a league game, I'd be more worried. If it was a FA Cup game, I'd be worried. If it was a League Cup game, if we were still in that, I'd be a bit worried. But this competition is what it is. Plus, it's an under-21 side. This team is the Man United under-21 team are a good team. I mean, they beat Rotherham in the first game. They've obviously beat us now, so they've won both the games so far. So we could be out if Doncaster beat Rotherham in the next game. I don't think they've played each other anyway. But yeah, they're not a bad side, to be fair. And Chef Tiong, I've probably butchered that name. He's on the verge of the first team at United. He's probably going to at least be on the bench for the Newcastle game of the weekend. So they're not a bad side, but it is what it is. So I don't really have anything else to talk about with regards to the match. Really, it is what it was. Another defeat. So also we're playing Sunderland on Saturday, which is a bit tricky game. I can't really see us getting anything out of it, to be honest. I think they've got a striker that costs several £million, and we've got two strikers, one of which is on loan. The other one just doesn't really contribute a lot, and they never play together at the same time. At least not from the start, anyway. So yeah, I can't really see us getting anything out of the game. And then as the month goes on, obviously I'll be doing reaction videos for every game for the rest of the month. But here comes a little announcement. I'm actually returning to the UK at the end of the month. My time in Portugal is coming to an end. I accepted a job, provisionally accepted a job in London. It's a bit complicated, but yeah, I'll be taking up a job in London, assuming everything goes through okay, at the end of the month. So there won't be many more reaction videos, except the odd one here and there, because obviously some games are still broadcast live on iFollow in the UK, like say in the evenings. But realistically after that there won't be that many. But the good news is there'll actually be more occasions where I'll actually be going to games, so I can do some more backstage vlogs. I haven't really decided how it's going to work yet. But yeah, on October 31st is my last day in my current job in Portugal, so I'll be returning to the UK after that. I don't know the full ins and outs of it yet. I'm not entirely sure when I start this new job, sometime in November, I know that much. But yeah, so I'll leave it there. So I'll keep you guys updated what's going to happen, and we'll go from there. But whether we actually win any games between now and then is a very different matter. But for the time being, have a good rest of the week, have a good evening, and I will see you all on Saturday evening after we have, likely lost to Sunderland.